Hello, everyone. My name is Lexi, and this is a Sincerely Self podcast. We're back on a random day again. We got some exciting things coming, though. It's almost the new year, and so I think it would be really fun to just kind of do a series on different ways you can change the different parts of your life for this new year, different ways you can set some goals, that kind of thing, with guests. I've been saying that for a minute. I've been saying, oh, I'm going to do guests, but I mean it this time. I'm putting my foot down. I mean business. And we're going to get some people on here, and I'm so excited. So, not this episode, sorry about that, but this one's just me and you. This one's a little close and personal. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can probably see, well, actually, I guess you wouldn't really know. I've been changing where I've been recording pretty frequently. I'm trying to kind of figure it out, decide. We'll see. But I reorganized my room yesterday, and I'm kind of liking this new desk placement. Let me know what you think. So I've been feeling kind of off the last month and a half, I'd say. And I was talking to one of my friends about it, and I feel like it's kind of just like a thing with the time of year, with the season. It's fucking cold in Utah, at least. It's freezing, bro. All of a sudden, hit December 1st and it started snowing. And am I born and raised here? Yes. But I'm still not used to it. I'm still not used to snow. I don't enjoy the snow. This is a different type of conversation. I'm going on a tangent. Let's rewind. I think a lot of people are kind of feeling this way right now, feeling a little bit lost. Our routines are kind of changing up a lot with daylight savings and the holidays and that kind of thing. There's a lot of emotional stress already going on, and a lot of my listeners are in their 20s or late teens, which I feel like is the period in your life where you are the most lost and not sure what you want to do, not sure what your purpose is, kind of questioning all of those things, and also having financial stress, family stress, school stress, all these things on top. So, if you've been feeling that way lately, I want to start this off by saying you're not alone. And also, it's a good thing to be lost because it means you are ready to move on for something new. If you have also been feeling very drained in your day, you're just not really resonating with your life as it is right now. If you're feeling really off, you're getting sick a ton, you are just super, super depressed, like more than ever, that is your sign that something in your life needs to be switched up, something needs to change a little bit. But I will say the grass isn't always greener on the other side. It's green where you water it. So that doesn't mean you need to cut a bunch of things out of your life, but maybe just reflecting and kind of changing the ways that you approach certain aspects in your life. Maybe you need to go out more, just reflecting. But that's kind of what we're going to talk about in this episode, is what kind of to do if you're feeling lost, just a little bit of guidance, because I feel like when you are in this space where you're just not really sure what you're here for, what you're doing, what you want to do, I think it's very easy to feel alone in that. So here this is, if you need it and you've been feeling this way. I've been feeling this way. And so I'm going to be telling you guys some of the things that I did to kind of help me get out of my little funk. So, first things first, I think the best way to approach this, find the different things that you like and the different things that you don't like. All of your interests. So, do you like waking up early? Do you like going to bed late? Do you like being really social and going out and talking to people a lot? Or are you more secluded and feel a lot better when you have more alone time? Try and find these things out about yourself so that you can adjust your day to how it feels best for you. I always will say, here's me on my pulpit again saying, self-care will change your whole life. So if you can incorporate some time that you dedicate to yourself, skincare routine, reading a book, meditation, drawing time, anything you do that is dedicated time for yourself, whatever that means for you, whatever helps you feel the best. When I say to be your authentic self and your best self, It's just the things that bring you genuine joy and genuine happiness, because those are the things that you are on the same vibration as. So when things are irritating you, we're going to get into this in a second on like how people are your mirror, but if things are irritating you, it's because it is triggering some sort of insecurity inside of you. So that's a good time to go in and explore and be like, why is this irritating me? So the first step, I think, in getting out of the funk of not knowing what you want to do with your life is becoming self-aware of your good attributes, your likes, and also your dislikes and your toxic attributes. I believe that everyone has toxic traits and positive traits. I don't really think there are many horrible, like genuinely awful people out there. I think more so when things go wrong or you get hurt by someone, hurt people hurt people. Sometimes people give in to their toxic traits. We all have. All of us are a bad person in someone's story. No one is perfect, okay? Everyone has made mistakes. That's just being human. So we need to give ourselves grace about it and give others grace about it, because I think sometimes we just unconsciously give in to our toxic traits, and that's when we can hurt people or do put ourselves in harmful situations. So I think being able to address like, what are toxic traits that I have? What are times that I have shown up bad in someone else's life or put someone else in a bad situation? Try and think back on the times that you have wronged someone, things like that. So that can prove your toxic traits. Or if you run late all the time, that's my toxic trait. For sure. It's bad. It's bad. Being late to things, it's bad. But being self-aware is the first step, right? And with that, I want to say that you're human. You're still going to have times you react in a toxic way or you give in to your toxic trait. The difference is how you react to it now that you are aware of it. When I'm in this type of situation again, how can I react differently next time? Learning from your present moment to improve your future. And forgive yourself, because if you're focusing too much on the past, like you keep thinking about past situations where you've done someone wrong, when I tell you to think of these things, I mean think of it, think of different ways you can react, be like, okay, this is my toxic trait, and forgive yourself for it, because at the end of the day, you reacted the best you could at the time. Now you know better, so now you can improve your future. But at that point, it had to be a learning point for you, right? And everyone makes mistakes, so just try and give yourself some grace with that. Now let's talk about how people are your mirror. I feel like I've talked about this in an episode before. I don't even know what one. You're going to notice the traits of others that you carry yourself. Those are the first traits you're going to notice in other people, good and bad. So use that to your advantage in the sense of improving your self-awareness. So when you run into people, think of what traits really, really stand out to you about them that you really, really like. If there's someone who's very understanding and caring, okay, those are traits that you also carry. You're on the same wavelength, same frequency as those personality traits so that you could notice them. So notice them and decide that you want to incorporate those more into your life and be like, those are traits that I have that I want to embrace more. Things like that. In a second, I'm going to give you guys some journal prompts that you can use that are very, very beneficial to kind of sorting this thing out, but that'll be in a second. You'll also notice traits in people that really, really bother you, but you don't really know why, or things that people say, traits that people have, certain people that you can't be around. Try and think about what it is specifically that they do or that they say that makes you not want to be around them, because it is triggering some sort of insecurity that you have. Unless they've like done something to do you dirty or they said something like really, really bad, try and think what it is that bothers you about them, because it's hitting an insecurity in you. You can choose to not be around that person, right? But still, it's a trait you hold that you can address to change for the future. Another thing with this is figuring out what are your values. Think and look in the different relationships in your life, especially with like your friendships and your family. Try and think, what are attributes that are the most important to you for the people, your close circle. So like for me, I really, really cherish loyalty and honesty and communication and hard work. these are things that I want in other people who I attract, right? And you attract people who are like you to some extent. Like I said, there are certain traits, good or bad, that you both have that make you guys compatible. So if I want to attract good people into my life, these type of people, I also want to have those attributes. I also want to be loyal. I also want to be honest. I also want to be communicative. I also want to be hardworking, because these are the type of people I want to bring into my life. And also, I know that if I embrace my values and try and show up with them, I'll be able to improve the lives of those around me as well. So that's another way to think about it. So I really, really recommend writing these things down, whether that be in a notebook, like a journal, or in your notes app on your phone. That's what I use a lot of the time, or sticky notes, literally anywhere. Just getting these things out of your head and onto paper help so much. Even if you got to take little videos of yourself, I don't care. I don't care. Do what you got to do. But get it out of your head, because it makes it so much clearer to see. Like when you're saying things, you're able to see it a little more clearly and kind of sort through it a little bit better. With that being said, I've talked about shadow work before. Shadow work is pretty much where you find specific prompts that are targeting different insecurities or traits in yourself that you need to address. So, lack of self esteem, jealousy, body image issues, family issues, literally anything you can think of, traumas. They have shadow work prompts for just about anything. I use Pinterest to get mine. Pinterest for everything, bro. Pinterest on top, for real. I use Pinterest for everything. I really, really recommend Pinterest. Going on there and finding journal prompts and affirmations. They have so many, and it's a really good guide. So I would go on there and look up shadow work prompts for whatever specific trait you want to target, because these prompts are made to bring that to the forefront of your brain so that you're able to see it clearer. So these are some journal prompts. They're not necessarily shadow work prompts, just kind of more prompts to make you think. I'm going to say them, but I'm also going to put them into the description. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the YouTube description. If you're listening to this, it'll be in the description of the episode so that you guys can go back and write them down. I really, really recommend just trying these out and seeing what you can learn about yourself. What are you passionate about? What are your top 3 values? What makes you feel proud of yourself? Okay, those are it for the journal prompts. I really, really hope those help you guys. Let me know what you think, how it went in the comments. I really want to know how much those helped you learn about yourself, because it's crazy what you can learn when you write things down and when you are provided with prompts to help you figure it out. It makes it feel a lot less burdening, It's nice to know that you have some sort of help. That being said, I'm also going to put a list of books that I recommend for self-discovery in the description as well. These are books that I personally love myself and I've noticed the most gain from. So those will also be listed down below if you want to check those out. Now we're going to kind of switch it a bit and talk more about when you are unsure what to do with your life. Maybe you're in college, you're not passionate about what you're going into. Maybe you're not in college because you don't even know what to go to school for. Maybe you are going to school for something or in a career already, but it's not something you're passionate about and you feel stuck. It is a very scary feeling because you're so worried about the what ifs, and what if I can't make this money, and what if I'm not able to have the life I want to live. Choosing to stay comfortable will never get you to where you want to go. But you gotta be realistic as well. So I do agree. I think you need to go for the things that make your soul happy, that bring you the most genuine happiness. But if you feel more secure in it when you have a backup, if this doesn't go well, or you have a job you're working while you're figuring this out, I think that's a smart idea in the economy we live in. So if you are going to school and you're getting a degree in something you're not that passionate about, but you're almost done, you might just want to finish and have that. And then while you're pursuing your dream, you aren't as nervous because you do have something to fall back on God forbid. Because a lot of the time, the best businesses in the world have all had some point of absolute failure. So when you hit that point, you'll have something to fall back on until you get to the good point. One of the books I'm going to recommend actually talks a lot about that, and it's very, very insightful on how these certain entrepreneurs, like famous entrepreneurs, got out of their rut and were able to create the reality. It's very, very fascinating. They were able to pursue the dreams they wanted to pursue. I'm not going to get super into it, but it is an amazing, amazing book. It is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Could not recommend it enough. It's amazing. Like I said, it'll be linked down below with the other books, but if you're wanting to start a business about something you're passionate about, it talks about different entrepreneurs throughout history who have created their own business and stuck to it through all of the hard times. They've made themselves out of nothing, and it is just so motivating to hear that. It makes you feel more motivated in pursuing your dreams and more supported in it. So if you are struggling with learning what you want to do in life, I really, really recommend that book. Another thing I recommend is thinking back on what are things you enjoyed doing in your childhood. Because when you're a kid, especially when you're really young, you are less influenced by society's pressures. If you really, really loved to draw when you were younger and you've just kind of fallen out with it, pick that back up and see what that helps you learn about yourself. If you used to love to read, that's kind of where I'm at. I used to love to read. I would read so many books, and so much poetry. And I still read, but I definitely don't read the book, like holding a paperback book or hardcover book. I a lot of the time just listen to audiobooks. So I have kind of recognized that and be like, okay, that brought me a lot of joy and that taught me a lot about myself. So I want to start incorporating reading a physical book again more. So that's something I've been working on with identifying these things about myself. If you're someone who loved being outside when you were younger, try and go outside a little bit more. Be grounded. Going outside and being grounded goes along with your root chakra. I'm going to do an episode on chakras. I have a special guest in mind for it in specific who knows so much about it. It'll be so good. I'm so excited. Your root chakra just has to do with feeling grounded in the present moment, feeling in touch with nature. You know, going out in nature is the best way to kind of make yourself feel more grounded and less all over the place, running around, focusing too much on the future, too much on the past. So that's another thing. If you used to love to play an instrument when you were younger, maybe try and play it a little bit again or learn more about it. These are things that are the most authentically you because they're the first interests you have. So looking back into them can kind of teach you a lot about yourself because our inner child is always within us. It's always reacting to certain things. And though we are physically getting older, our soul stays the same. You know what I mean? So you'll still have aspects of your inner child that will come out. So being able to remember who you were as a kid will be very insightful in your reactions to things, the type of love that you desire, the type of friendships that you receive the best. All these things can be found when you are looking into your childhood. Feeling uncomfortable is normal through all of this, and just discomfort in life in general, honestly, is so normal and it's okay. And don't get mad at yourself if you're not following this perfect routine and having this perfect life. It's okay to be where you're at because where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. There are no such thing as coincidences. You are always exactly where you are meant to be. And if you are in a hard place right now where you don't feel comfortable, where things are bad, where you're feeling lost, think of this as a lesson for your future self, for your higher self, for your best self. Think of the traits that you're going to gain from this hard time. Think of the different aspects you are going to learn about yourself through being lost. I think everything has to go bad before it goes good. So when things are falling apart, take it as a sign that things are about to get so good for you but you just have to experience these things to build you into the person who can take on these new experiences. So relax, take a deep breath. You are not running out of time on figuring these things out. You are right on time. And I promise you, the more self discovery you do, the more time with yourself, the more you are able to make your life feel the happiest it can for you, is when you are going to receive that insight on what you want to do with your life, what brings you the most happiness. I'm going to kind of use my life as a bit of an example with this. So, about 4 years ago, I started working with children who have disabilities. My mom works in that type of field. So, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to give it a try and try working with kids. I'd been like a babysitter my whole life. I'm an older sister of 10. So, I'm like, I'm always with kids. I feel like it could be fine. I've learned so much working with these kids, and when I am working with kids, I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. Even when there's bad days, even when I get hit, even when I get kicked, even when I get yelled at, it is the most fulfilling thing to me. I know through doing that job, I feel like that is something that I'm here to do, like to work with kids, like to help children grow, to help them discover things about themselves, to help them learn coping mechanisms, to help them do these things on their own, but just assisting them with it. It genuinely is the most rewarding thing to me. And I did it. I started this job when I didn't really know what else to do. It was COVID, and I just graduated high school, and I was going to school, but I had no idea what I wanted to go to school for. So I just did this job, and it has been the most rewarding thing. I've had such hard days. I won't lie. There are days that are super hard, and there are days that are super, super rewarding, but I feel the most fulfilled when I am doing something like that, when I'm helping kids, when I'm helping people in general. I've been able to realize that that's something that brings me the most happiness. Like, that's something that I would love to do my whole life. And I never would have thought that. Like, when I went to school, I was like, maybe I'll be a therapist or something. I don't know. Because I knew I liked being with people, but I've learned more and more and more distinctly about what I want to do with it. And when you are working in a job that is something that you genuinely feel fulfilled for, even if it is hard sometimes, a job that genuinely makes you feel fulfilled, it changes your whole life. Work doesn't feel so hard to go to, and you grow as a person. When you are feeling lost is when you are going to find your purpose, whether you believe that to be your purpose or just something that brings you joy and makes you authentic, however you view it. But I promise you that you will get there. Even when it feels impossible, you will make it through this weird, awkward stage that feels very, very awful. It's just growth. I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. If, like I said, if you're feeling lost right now, feeling unsure, feeling weird, I'm with you. It's normal. We're going to get through this. It's almost Christmas. It's almost the new year. We got this. It'll be okay. Think of different times you've gone through hard times in your life. You made it through those, so you can make it through this. If you are watching this episode on YouTube, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you are listening to this episode, make sure you give me 5 stars. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Also, remember, in the description on all platforms, there will be the journal prompts and also the books that I'm recommending to you guys. So let me know what you think about the books too, because they changed my life. I can't express it enough. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week, and I will talk to you next week.